Welcome back to Qualified Dropouts, and we are officially back from everything. Christmas,
New Year,
holiday. Ian's back. The last time you heard from Ian, it was literally a month ago because we pre-recorded a lot of episodes. So
that is true. I didn't even think about that.
It's been a whole month since we're back on this couch. But I hope you guys had. I mean, we've posted one since the holidays, but we hope you all had a great holiday and New Year and everything like that. And we hope you guys have set some pretty extravagant goals in 2023. Yeah. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also, if I sound a little bit depressed, it's because I'm a little bit sick, but I show up and work regardless. So don't think I'm depressed. I'm just a little bit sick, but I'm drinking some tea, and I still want to talk about shit.
There you go. I hope you're not getting sick. I'm going to be honest. Because I just got over my sickness. And if I get sick again, it put me out. Put me out for the count because did not want to start off 2023. Oh, wait, I think. Okay, it's clipped in now. But I did not want to start off 2023 with how it started. Yeah, it's good now. Buddy, what are you doing?
Stop. He just needs to lay down.
Anyways, I did not start off 2023 as strongly as I wanted, health-wise and also business-wise, because I did not get a lot of content when I was sick, and I didn't post a lot of things that I wanted to post because I was doing good with content when I was down in Florida and also my diet and everything, and then I got sick until I threw it off. But I was going to a really dope gym down there. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
It was so sweet. And they were so nice to me, and like,
dude,
they were so cool.
Bro, we got to talk about this because I was back home too. The South, people are just nicer. Straight up.
I would say
everything about it, bro. Convenient. I remember I was on the way home and I got in Tennessee and my phone was about to die because my outlet in my car wasn't working. Bro, the guy in there was so nice. He was like, yeah, man, you can charge your phone. Also, like, do you want something to drink? I can get you something to drink. I don't want you to be stranded. And I'm like, homie, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm good. I just need to charge my phone for like 5 minutes. He was like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm cool, bro. And he was like my age.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Funny. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, when we went to like gas stations, everything in Alabama, like everybody, you say hey, they say, hey, how are you? Like super nice. I actually want to like say something where here you walk in, they're like,
what do you want? Yeah, or just nothing at all.
Like you'll literally put something on the table and they'll just be like,
yeah.
And you say, have a great day. And they just look away.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. South is filled with nice people.
It is. Yeah. That is one thing I don't really miss, but I think it's really just smaller towns. Because I guarantee you go to smaller towns around here. It's really not just the South. It's just you go to any smaller town, they're going to be nicer. Cause
smaller towns, people like seeing new faces and new people, so they're going to be more joyful when.
Yeah. Because they're not always around a bunch of people at once. That's it. Cities, you're just constantly around people. And when you're constantly around something that you don't necessarily like, yeah, it gets annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So, but today we want to talk about a lot of different things that I think are going to help you guys going into 2023 and shift your mindset a little bit, because I think for me, one of my goals this year is not even necessarily like hit big numbers on like Instagram or YouTube. It's really just like creating habits that I haven't created in the past that are going to drive the results I want in the future. So.
Wow, my dog is being really, he's usually just on the couch asleep with us, but I don't know why. Come here. Thank you. Come here. There we go.
We could get rid of him.
There we go.
1,000 likes will get rid of Buddy.
No.
Why not?
10 million likes will get rid of him.
I might buy likes just for that reason.
No, we're not going to get rid of him.
I'd spend like $1,000 on 10 million.
Yeah, I don't even think you can buy likes on YouTube. But, yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about establishing or creating new habits, because last weekend, me and Tino really touched base on just, like, starting from social media from scratch, because I just get that question a lot, so I just wanted to address that, how to start social media from absolute scratch, what things I would have changed. So if you haven't watched the last episode, you want to learn more about that, go watch it. If that doesn't really tickle your fancy, then don't watch it. But
What's topic number 1?
Topic number 1 is how to create new habits. Why don't you start with that, Ian? I'm gonna drink some tea and I'm gonna listen to you.
Yeah. So I'm starting to reread Atomic Habits again, and it's a great read. I forgot how great it was until I started reading it again. I'm like, holy crap, I'm doing so many things wrong right now. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's so bad. So, how to create a habit. Here we go. I actually tweeted this, and I want to remember it exactly because it's really good and I don't want to butcher it. So, habits, if they're not basically good enough, or if you don't have any type of like reward from it, you will not keep it consistent. So, the main thing is, this is what I said, is, right? Hold on. Okay, motivation's a habit, but this is how you create a healthy habit and keep motivation. If there's no cue, meaning there's no trigger where it starts something, the habit will never start. So if that means, let's say you want to start, you don't want to scroll, on your TikTok in the morning anymore, and you want to get ready throughout the day. Like, you want to get up and get going, put your phone on a charger and put it in the bathroom. There has to be a cue, meaning you have to get up and go do something to create a habit. The next thing is if there's no craving, you won't have enough motivation to act. So if you don't have a craving to actually make a change in a certain area of your life with that habit,
that's a good one.
You won't even act. Again, you also won't even start. So going to the next step would be make it difficult, make it too difficult, and you won't be able to do it again. So if the habit is like way too crazy,
that's a good one.
This is where a lot of people fail.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I'm going to read a book a week or something. And they went from like reading 0 books, and then they fail once, and then they like give up completely. Or even like, it's just like
that's
going
important.
to the gym too. Like, I'm going to start working out and dieting again. And the one thing they do is they cut out all the foods they're eating currently. So they're not satisfying their cravings anymore. And then they go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. And they're like, I don't know why, it just doesn't fit my life. It's like, well, yeah, you haven't acclimated to each level. Like, you literally went from, I don't want to say loser, but beginner. I mean, I guess I just did. But you went from beginner to no experience all the way to an advanced lifter, like an advanced athlete. Do you think you would actually compare with advanced athletes? Like, if you if you go to a training camp for the NFL, do you think you'll ever be able to train like them at this current moment? Probably not. I couldn't do it. I've never trained like that. So it's like, why do you think you could train and diet like an advanced athlete who's been doing it for 5 to 10 years? So that's that. And then the last step is, if the reward doesn't satisfy your desire, then you'll never do it again. So,
dude, I love that word, bro. Desire.
Yeah.
It's actually, if my brother's watching this podcast, I hope he is, but we actually had a long conversation about this, because he's talking to someone right now, and they talk a lot about fitness and like discipline and stuff like that. And this is actually another topic we can talk about. Is
discipline's a lie.
They're like, how do you get disciplined? And I'm like, well,
dude,
because also people are like, well, you have to start motivated. I'm like, no, you don't really have to start motivated either. It really comes down to the desire to actually get to the end goal.
Yeah.
That's typically what it is.
You know what's funny? I actually I videoed something in the gym today talking about discipline and how to create it, and like why people have such a wrong perspective about it.
So wrong.
Because they think that people who are disciplined are saying no to 100% of the habits that put them in the environment of temptations that they used to be. That's not true. What those people do who have discipline is they have removed their environment that causes a lot of temptations and old habits. About 90% of them have removed them from their life completely. So now when it comes to the 10% that they come in contact with, it's easier to say no to the 10% of the old habits you used to have than 100% of it. And discipline isn't even keeping the exact same lifestyle. Discipline actually comes down to getting rid of every temptation and habit that you have. And you know what's actually kind of crazy? In the book I'm reading now too, I don't even know if I can say this word. I'll show you this. Hold on. Because I don't know if I'm allowed to. Am I allowed to say that first word?
Ooh. I don't think so. That's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
You can just say H. H addicts.
Okay. H addicts. He kind of compares just like habits, discipline, motivation, all of that to H addicts, because what happens when they go in rehab is they've removed themselves from an environment that was constantly surrounded by it.
Mm-hmm.
So when they removed it completely, it was very easy. It's very easy and easier for them to quit. But they said once 90% of them that went back to their old environments all started again and relapsed. Because they have not created a new lifestyle or a new environment replicating what they've learned in the new area. So it's like your habits and your environment dictates how much discipline and motivation you have.
You know what?
That's it.
Yeah, you know what's crazy about that too is when I went back to Memphis, every time I go back there, all I want to do is fucking drink alcohol. Because that's what I associate that town with.
You would love, like Atomic literally talks about that. They said there's a story of a girl, she quit smoking cigarettes and she used to ride horses. And every time she rode a horse, she would, smoke a cigarette or whatever. She didn't ride horses for 10 years. She went back to ride a horse and she said, I had the urge to smoke a cigarette and I haven't touched a cigarette in 10 years.
Crazy, dude, because that's the same with me. I haven't smoked nicotine in...
Yeah. But once you drink, you probably want it, right? I'm assuming.
Well, no, I was at my desk playing video games, and that's when I used to do it in Memphis.
Yeah.
Play video games, have a Nick stick right next to you,
yeah.
puff it while I'm playing video games. Bro, and I was sitting in Memphis, and I'm like, damn, I wish I had my nicotine stick. And I'm like, wait a second, I'm not a fucking dork.
It's funny.
It's crazy.
Because in the book, there's science behind it. They've done research studies. He talks about that and how your habits is like the old habits you have, the whole environment will be like you'll do everything that you used to do, even if you've completely cut it out, because it's a habit you've created. And they said habits are so strongly implemented into your brain, it's not even funny. Like you will think you have forgotten about it, but if you do something that triggers it again, you could relapse.
Yeah,
so it's very interesting.
I mean, we can even relay that back to Houston, bro. When I came back to this apartment, bro, grind, fucking 10 hours straight.
Dude, I'm so ready for this year. Like, I can't even explain. Like, I'm super happy. I feel like I have a little bit of clear vision again. Like, I just know what I'm doing. And, the end of the year, I think, was like a big struggle for me. But, because it just like got draining.
Yeah.
But I did actually enjoy going home because I grinded even over there.
I did too.
I did.
Which is different.
Because last time I went home, I didn't.
Yeah.
And
I didn't really either last time.
This time I set boundaries and try to keep my habits that I had currently and like my expectations. And it was actually pretty easy. I think I was kind of like the first thing I did when I got there, grocery shopped.
Yeah.
Got my brother's truck, went to the grocery store, bought all my protein, all my food, went back to the house, edited some content. Every time I went to the gym, brought my camera, mic, edited content. And then I went and spent time with family, and then I was editing and then posted till I got sick. When I get sick, it totally throws me off. I mean, I'll try. Depends on your sickness. Like me, it was strep throat. It was just horrible. You can't.
Strep throat, fever. Only so much you can do.
But I think I just was trying to keep like that and that grind. But coming back here, I was just so ready. Like
and that kind of goes on. I mean, we'll get back to topics in a sec, but that's what kind of goes on another point of like, bro, it's so important to move out of your hometown because when you move out of your hometown and you move to whatever the fuck city you want to go to, bro, when you establish those new habits there, it's set in stone. When you
like
move
no
to
one's
city.
there to hate on you, harp on you, like make fun of you.
Exactly.
Like, and
it's
even when I go back
new.
home, like I still think of like the people who like, maybe they think it's cool. I think a lot of them think it's cool what I do.
I'll be honest, bro. When we go back to our hometowns now, we're fucking celebrities. I actually go on your story. I'll tell a story. So I was at this restaurant with my mother, and this girl comes up, and it was a girl I used to go to high school with, and I was with my sister as well, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, Asher," and I'm like, "Oh, hello, sweetheart, how you doing?" And I was like, let's go talk over here. Let's not be in the middle of everyone. And so we went to go talk. She was like, wait, you're like talking to me? Like, aren't you famous? And I'm like, I mean, not really, but like I still like to keep in contact with people that, you know, went to my high school and stuff. And we talked for a while. She's actually gonna start studying over in like Vietnam. She wants to be an English teacher or something. But it's really cool because like once you grow a name for yourself and you go back to your hometown,
or just do something different.
You're treated like a fucking, because no one's used to that, bro. You go to any bar, you're gonna get free drinks. And like I'm not even saying like I do that because I don't, but like no, bro, when I walked into that restaurant, she was like, "What do you want?" Like, I'll get you anything. I'm like, nothing.
People want to like hang out with you when you come back. I mean, it was like, I mean, not everybody, but a good amount of people were like, "Yo, let's hang out." But what was really cool too was the gym owner the gym I went at. They were super chill. I got like such a cheap pass, and then I was there, and it's cold. I was the last person in the gym, and they closed at 9. It was like 8:45 or 8:50, and I had to get a late workout in. And they DM'd me, and they're like, "Hey, can you just close up?" Because it's like a very like home. It's like a very like close knitted like gym, so it's kind of cool. Because I was like, "Hey, can you just close up for me?" Like they're super trusting. I was like, "Yeah, no worries, I got you. I'll do it." And then they said, "Awesome, thank you so much." Blah blah blah. The next day, the owner was talking to me. It was his wife, so they're both joint owners. She came up to me, she's like, "Wait, you're Ian, right?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, I DM'd you. I didn't think you were going to message me because, like, you're like an influencer." And she's like, "The fact that you did that's so nice. Like, oh my gosh." Yeah. Like, so many people, like, don't DM. I was so shocked. I'm like, "Oh, no." I'm like, I respond usually to everybody.
That's crazy, bro. Because, I mean, I'll be honest. Some, like, people's followings and stuff like that, like, it gets to their head and they, like, just don't think it's, they don't reply to anyone. Bro, I reply to fucking everyone. Like, I probably get 20, 30 DMs a day. I reply to everyone.
I reach out to people and tell them thank you for their support and follow.
I mean, dude, same here. If there's a guy in my comment section and he has a sick physique, bro, I'll legit DM him and say, "Bro, you got a sick physique," and follow him. It makes the kid's day. Yeah. Why would you not want to do that? Yeah. You know, some guy looks up to you and you tell him, "Yo, bro, you're sick." That's gonna make his fucking year. Yeah.
No, it's straight cool. Up. And I mean, I'm not trying to brag. Right? I'm still very small creator compared to Asher, but not even that big either. Asher's the famous one. But no, it is cool. It is cool for sure. But let's get back.
Yeah, let's get back on topic. I just wanted to talk about hometowns real quick because
it was cool.
Yeah. Let's see here.
So what did we first? We creating new habits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we cover everything in that?
I think we did. Yeah.
So the next one, excuses in 2022. Don't let them transfer over to 2023. Everybody has an excuse. Life isn't fair. You're going to have financial struggles. Deaths are going to come up. Depression, anxiety, you name it. Whatever your excuse is. Everybody has them. It's life. Super fair. Like, I mean, life is not fair at all. Yeah. So it's like, why would you want to keep making these same excuses going into 2023, already knowing what the outcome is? Because the outcome is who you are today. All of your habits and all of your excuses is who you are today. If you look in the mirror and honestly, be honest with yourself, are you happy with where you're at? Or is there an area of your life that you're like, man, I really need to fix? Because you might have all the money in the world, but like, what if your health is really poor? What if you live till another 5 years and you can't spend that money? Mm-hmm. Or vice versa. Like you're really, really healthy, but you have no money to your name because you don't take care of yourself. Yeah. So I think a lot of people find a lot of excuses, and it's just interesting to me. I think I've just talked to a lot of people now. Same excuses. It doesn't change. Since I started my coaching, I've probably talked to well over 1,000 people.
Yeah, probably.
So it's like same excuses, and a lot of them just let it define them. Like, well, I just can't. What?
Yeah, I want to talk about this one excuse because I think this excuse is gonna hit a lot of people, and this isn't really necessarily towards like our company. It's more of the people that are trying to start a company, and it is, my parents don't support me. Yeah. So what do you say to that? Because I have a lot of stuff to say to that.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think when it comes to an excuse, a lot of people will generalize an excuse, time, whatever, or like this, like an instant, for instance. I think the biggest thing is you also need to ask yourself, why do they not support me?
Exactly.
Like you need to actually question and see it from their perspective.
This is why I tell you guys, question everything.
Like you need to ask yourself why an outcome is. I don't like to think with emotion or feeling. And people who don't ask themselves questions or question their statements or anything they've said, they think with emotion and feeling, and that's exactly why they feel that way. I think it's such a horrible way to go about it because you're now just people who do that just state very, very generalized, like covers all topics in the world statements that won't change your life at all. So I think asking yourself, why do they not support me? Is it because you have no plan, you just say you don't want to go to school, and you just sound like a loser? 2, you've maybe tried something in the past and you gave up within 10 days and you talked all about it, but then you told them, oh, I'm not doing it, I got lazy. 3, maybe you haven't even shown them the reward or what can happen. And so for me, it was like my dad, I mean, they were like always supportive, but my dad pushed me to go to school a lot. He wanted me to go to nursing. And he still wanted me to, even when I dropped out. He's like, you gotta pick what you're gonna do. You gotta pick your career. You're 24, you're 25 now. Or no, you're 23, you're 24, because I started when I was 24. And you gotta figure it out. And finally I was like, no, I did my bodybuilding show. I'm like, Dad, I'm doing social media. I'm creating a business, online coaching. I was an in-person trainer. There's more potential online. He's like, all right. And he's like, oh, whatever. And the first month, I sold $5,000 and I showed him. That's all. I was like, Dad, I just made $5,000. Look. He's like, okay. Yeah. You have my support. He's like, don't fucking quit. Now he tells me, he's like, go out to Houston. He's like, don't quit. He's like, you better not quit. Like, he's like, you already made it this far. And he's like super supportive. He's like, what you're doing. He's like, takes a lot of balls, but he's like, you're doing it. And I don't understand it, but you're doing it. And he's like, it's your dream. He's like, I wish I moved out of, here. I wish I did a lot of things. And he's like, do what you want to do now. So
yeah,
that's my
answer
answer to that.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a really good answer. You basically covered everything. But
give your perspective.
So my perspective is it's crazy how many times I answer this. I just want it to be just like on the internet so I can say, watch this episode of my podcast and it will explain everything. So if your parents don't support you in anything you do, again, like Ian said, you have to question why. But also I want to ask you guys, in what handbook, human handbook, parent handbook, has it ever said that your parents are supposed to support you in something you do? Seriously.
It's true.
Where has it ever said, like, I don't know where these unwritten rules come from. And I understand as a 14 or 15 or 16 years old, everyone wants their parents' support because we all want to make our parents happy. That's obvious, right? But you have to ask yourself, like, why would they support you if you haven't done anything yet? Why? Yeah. Why would you support anyone who doesn't done anything yet? Like, y'all wouldn't have supported Kobe Bryant if he didn't win fucking 4 rings. Seriously.
True.
No, he wouldn't be called one of the GOATs if he wouldn't have fucking won 4 rings. That's facts. Same thing with LJ. Same thing with MJ. Same thing with Tom Brady.
No,
anyone who shows massive success would have gotten no support if they didn't have anything to back it up with. So that's what you got to ask yourself. And who told you that your parents need to support you in everything they do? I would actually argue that it's better for your parents to not support you, because that's what's going to actually instill the desire for you to complete it so you can finally get that validation from your parents that it's possible. That's what it was for me. I'm glad my parents didn't support. If they supported me, bro, it would be like, oh, yeah, it's just another thing that I'm doing. But, if it's like you go completely against the odds and then do it and then show them, dude, so much value is attached to that. It's incredible.
Yep.
So that's
more rewarding than having their support.
So much more rewarding.
Yeah.
And I say this time and time again because people are like, yo, I want to do this. What's the easiest way? How do I do this in a month? And it's like, what if I told you it's going to take 15 years? Would you do it then?
Yeah.
You know, like, do you actually want to do it? Because I'll tell you one thing right here on the spot. If you actually wanted to do something and you actually had the desire to do it, you wouldn't ask how long it's going to take. You would do whatever it is.
That is true.
You would do whatever it is, how long it takes, whatever. And this is something Alex Hormozy talks about a lot. I think you actually put it on your story about him saying, like, don't set goals, set habits instead. Remember when he's talking? He basically says setting goals is a terrible way to look at it. What you need to do is you need to set habits that is going to get you to that end desirable goal.
And I think that's something that I didn't do this past year.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did I think we went through spurts. But I was so focused on the goals. And I was like, okay, what can I do to get this goal? Mm-hmm. Like, so my goals were so small because I was thinking of instant things that would get me that goal.
Exactly.
Which is a horrible way to do it. And this year, I want to create habits. That's why on my vision board, literally, I
bet they're all habits, aren't they?
I mean, one was like do a bodybuilding show. But the big one is like growing my social media. And I know like my YouTube is like post one video at a time. Like one video a week. That's it. That's my habit. I have to post a video every single week. I'm going to suck at edit. The first video is going to be shit, but I'm going to do my best to like learn more about it. But yeah, like when I was making my vision board, all of it I was just basing my goals off of like, okay, what habits can I do and create? One, reading a book a month. That's it. I'm reading one with my client and I'm starting off with Atomic Habits, which I think is great, but I really need to become more knowledgeable, honestly. That's it. I feel like I was doing really, really good in the beginning last year. And then I feel like my knowledge kind of like leveled off and I didn't really start like seeking more because I just stopped reading. And I've always been a big reader and I feel like it influences me a lot. And I learn a lot from it and from all the different things. But that's one of my habits. Like, I need to read a book a month. Yeah.
Because, bro, that's just one thing that a lot of younger adults ask, especially, is I want to do XYZ in XYZ time. It's like, that timestamp, that's the crutch.
Yeah.
Because if you don't complete it in that timestamp,
you just feel horrible.
You're fucked.
I think we experienced that the past year.
We did.
We were like,
because
I think it got us down and made us not as successful. Made me not as successful as I think I could have been because I was so crushed by the fact that like I didn't achieve my goals that I was like said, oh, by this time you would. But now I know. Yeah. It's not a time frame thing.
It's not a time frame thing. It's a habit thing, and you're gonna get that goal whenever you get it. And like
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was basically done.
Okay. And now I think what a lot of people are gonna ask from this is, how do I create habits, or how do I know what habits are good to grow my business and make money?
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I think a lot of people struggle with doing that. I think a lot of questions that people are going to ask after that is, well, how do I know it's a good habit and it's going to get me to my end goal if I don't, have like a time on this goal? Really, all it is you need to figure out what you want to do in your business or what you want to accomplish, whether it be anything. It doesn't have to be just business. And all you need to do is break down what would you do daily, or what is a daily task that you would do to grow the business by 1%, or a daily task that's necessary to keep the business running, or a daily task that's necessary to keep your fitness in check, or anything like that. And if you're trying to grow on social media, what do you think it is? It's making content. So you need to make a piece every single day. That's your one habit. You wake up, edit a piece of content, you post it. And if you don't have any content, then you wake up, you go make content. You go film,
you post about it.
And then you post about it. Yep. And that's your habit. And then if you want to stack on another good habit, it could be like, okay, I edited and I posted it. How's it doing? Now, if I'm trying to grow some type of coaching business, DM 10 people a day, or 5 people a day, or 20 people a day, or post a story poll, or you could then reevaluate and spend maybe an hour on learning how to edit or learning how to get better at said skill to produce better content. I don't know. I think people like that's like a good way to go about it.
Yeah, they overcomplicate it. Like the best way to go about habits, guys, is setting daily habits. I mean, I guess that's the definition of habits. But I think a lot of people overcomplicate it, and they think about the end goal too much when they really should just be thinking about the habits to maybe one day get to the end goal. Like, using an end goal is way too... They use it as a crutch more than so as more of a desire.
I did it all last year, so I know for a fact everybody does it. Like,
yeah, I did it too.
So it's like, I don't know. Yeah. I know it's a big issue. So
yeah,
but that's for like excuses in 2022.
So the last thing we wanted to talk about was
learning from the past.
Yeah, learning from the past. I don't know what you meant by that, but we were talking about topics this morning. So.
Yeah, it was kind of like relating off of excuses from 2022, I think. I feel like I said it a different way, though. Learning. I don't know, actually. I'm going to be honest. You got anything to say about that?
I don't remember it either. But, yeah, I think, we can just kind of talk a little bit about it, because another question both of us get a lot is, do you regret anything from the past? I believe that's a very just terrible way to live in general, is regretting things you have done in the past. I've literally been arrested, and I don't regret what I did.
Yeah.
I just learned from it, and now I don't make that mistake. I think putting regret inside your head is just a really, really bad image to put to it. I think everyone should treat it like a lesson.
Financial. I think I think a lot of people want to hear is like financial regret. Like,
yeah.
Because I think that's always been finances has always been like a touchy subject for a lot of people. I think a lot of people like don't.
I don't care to talk about
To
finances.
talk about it. Yeah. They think it's like, fuck that. You need to talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, you don't know how to make it.
Yeah.
Any financial regret you have, I don't think there's such thing as really too much of a financial regret, as long as if it's like steered towards the right way. Spending money on shit that maybe we didn't necessarily need, or last year I think I made a big investment in my business. Didn't get the return I was expected and I was told, and it put my business in a very struggling financial state for sure. Now, do I regret that large investment? No, because I think even in the failure that I got from it, I still learned a lot from it. I don't know how to explain. Is that
no? I'm the same way. Like this year alone, I've never made this amount of money in my life ever before. Like,
same.
It's kind of crazy how much money I made, and this is not to brag, because I came out the same, like, I guess, like, liquid-wise as I came out the year before. And it's because I made a lot of stupid investments that I got no return on, and I don't regret doing it, because, in my opinion, like, my honest opinion, bro, like, obviously both of us are very, close with God and everything. I think that's maybe a way of God
humbling us and
saying, like, we're not ready for that money yet. No, like, seriously.
I agree, because...
I think about that every day, and I'm like, if I had $40,000 liquid in the bank, God's just looking out for me, bro. Maybe he didn't want me to have that money.
Because then I'd probably blow it on something, right?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I would have blown it, and, now that I have that lesson... looking back a year from now, if I had fucking $40K in the bank, I probably would have done some stupid shit, honestly.
Yeah.
And I agree. I definitely matured a lot.
It's funny you say that, because this past year I was like, dude, I made the most money I've ever made. Like, I'm 26, like, ever in a single year. And I'm like, I come out and I'm like, it's just the same, if not even worse than when I started, honestly. Like, financial wise, like, I'm like, what the frick? Like, what happened? How did that even, like, happen? And it's not even necessarily that we were putting money into stupid things. For me, I hired too soon. That was it. I brought on an employee way too soon, brought it full time. It's a big financial investment to have an employee, by the way, guys. Just like if you guys have a business and you think about getting an employee, you don't think about it. You either know you need it or you don't. Yeah. That's what I've learned.
Same here.
So, I think I need my my assistant part-time. Perfect. She does get a lot of work done now that I don't want to do. That's a daily habit that has been taken off of my plate that now is optimized by her. So then I bought time back. So now I can spend more time on filming YouTube videos, learning how to edit them, and doing content properly. Because with that, I was like bouncing it, juggling everything.
Trying to learn too many things at once. And that's the hardest part, bro, is really jiggling to find the activities that are going to help the most so you're not scatterbrained.
Yeah. So, but yes, I think I made some pretty big investments that I did not get a return on financially, but I definitely got a return on knowledge-wise and lesson-wise. And so going into this year, I'm super excited to see where it takes me. I'm happy with the lessons I've learned. And we'll definitely be making more than this past year, but we'll also be able to make more with less of an investment in the business. Mm-hmm. So
it's crazy that you said that, how different our businesses are. So like Ian, his assistant, is doing more I would say like income generating activities, and my editor just edits my YouTube videos and makes thumbnails and shit, because that's something I didn't want to learn that I've already done in the past that I know I don't want to do, and it buys me back a lot of time. But also, like, I do YouTube like a lot now, so I need extra hands on that project.
I think eventually I'll get an editor, but it's also a skill I've always wanted to learn how to edit.
It's important. I think, and this goes out to everyone watching this video, I think it is very important for all of you guys to know how to run Adobe Premiere or CapCut or Final Cut Pro, even a little bit, just the basics. I think it's such a good skill to have, and you never know when someone's going to come to you and be like, you know how to edit a video? Quick $100. Boom.
Anything.
Not kidding. Not
even
kidding
$1,000.
either. Yeah.
You'll be surprised at what people pay for videos, especially if you're good at it. You'll be surprised at what people pay for anything.
Yeah.
If you're really good at it. Mm-hmm. So no, I think I also did think, though, I want to go back to the God thing, is humbled.
Yeah.
Because you know what I think too? In the beginning of the year, we were kind of rolling.
Oh my gosh, were we ever rolling?
Like, and
holy shit, bro.
We were kind of like careless and carefree.
Yeah.
I would say we've always been really good with like personal like spending. I feel like we've always been very like tight. We've always grocery shopped at the cheapest place. We've always, but I mean, there's definitely times where, we'll be bored and we'll go and spend.
No, we are not talking about our car.
No,
for everyone that's asking, that is one of the best investments me and Ian have ever made, ever.
100%. 110%.
I do not. I get that question a lot, bro. Do you regret buying your car? I'm like, fuck no, bro.
Yeah.
Anyone who tells you to buy a beater, don't listen to them, bro. If you have enough money to buy a fucking nice car, buy
Alex
that shit.
Ramosi says to buy a beater, but
I don't care. I literally do not give a shit. But he also lives very thin. He's not a big spender.
Yeah. But he also does spend. He goes out to eat and spends a lot of money every single night.
That's the thing, though. He goes out and spends fucking big balling.
You know what's crazy too?
$200
when he was balling, when he was like in our shoes, honestly, he was going out to eat every day.
Yeah,
because he liked eating out every day. So he was spending more on eating out than we were on groceries, because he was spending, I think, $900 a month on.
No, it wasn't that much. No, it was $680,
something like that.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't spend half I spend like $350. Yeah, you probably spend like $350, $400.
Well, yeah, I guess because it's about like $75.
So he was spending $300 or more on food than us, as well as who knows what his other living expenses were.
Exactly.
Right. But yeah, no, the car. I know people. No, I think cars are poor investments if you're stuck on salary.
Yeah, exactly.
You will never make any more. Mm-hmm. I mean, where it takes you.
That's
years.
how I view it.
But if you can make as much as you want in the world,
if you buy a car to impress people about people you don't care about,
like it ties with your job,
exactly.
And you're like, I make more money now, but then that extra money you spent is capped, and you bought a car because you wanted to look cool because you have a better paying job. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact our income is not capped.
It's not at all.
Like, we could be making $100K a month.
Yeah.
And 3 years from now, we have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can go back on your topic, but yeah, we're not talking about our cars. I don't care what Alex Hormozy says. I love Alex. I think he's great.
He's a great,
but that's one thing I don't really care that he says, because I think everyone lives their life to their fullest, whichever the way he wants, and he likes to eat out every day. I don't. I like to drive sports cars, and I like to look like a fucking mafia boss motherfucker on the street with my Challenger. That's it.
And we don't spend money on clothes at all.
We don't. This is given to me. This is my brand. This was given to me. Boxers are Santa Claus boxers. I think they're hand-me-downs.
Given, bought. Oh, man, these are like 6 years old.
Those are the OG Nike sweats, bro.
These are like really old.
Yeah.
Socks. I actually just bought new socks.
Those are mine.
No, they aren't.
Oh, you bought some?
Yeah. Remember before I left, you're like, are you wearing, because you wore my socks. And then the next day, I bought these, and you're like, "Are you wearing mine? Did you steal mine just to get back at me?"
I don't remember that.
Oh, $8.
Yeah, but yeah, that's I don't spend.
But I ran out of socks because Asher stole.
I have one
socks.
pair, which I wore yesterday. I'll give them back.
Dude, this guy comes out of his bedroom, and we're about to go. Look at his feet. He's wearing Hurley's, not like high top socks, and I was like, "Those are mine." He's like, "Oh, I was going to tell you. I washed them. I was going to give it to you, but I just put them on instead." I'm like, "What?"
That's okay.
So, anyways, no, that's not a horrible investment. The car, I'm so happy I got it. I'm mentally so much better. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I know I can afford. And even in struggle, honestly, I don't know. So, yeah, but that's basically.
Yeah, I wanted to conclude it right there, unless you got anything else, Ian.
No, I got nothing else. I think this is a good little talk. Set your habits. I mean, if you guys have any questions, or questions about how to go about setting habits, honestly, just read Atomic Habits. I'm not even kidding. Like, we could give you good information, but that book itself is probably one of the best books you will ever read in your life, and it will actually change your life. Because you know what's funny? I read it before
prep.
It was during prep. I read it actually during prep and through the end of it. So it was right before I started my business. I will probably read it again in a year from now.
Yeah.
As long as if I keep remembering what I'm taught, but if I don't, I'll read it again. It is one of the best books ever written. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
It's probably the best book I have ever read in my whole life.
Wow.
And that's like
that's
I've read a lot of books too.
That's a statement right there.
I've read a lot of books, like a lot of personal development books, because I used to have to read personal development books for Chick-fil-A.
I could see that.
Leadership and everything like that.
You
I read
gave
a lot.
me Essentialist, and I read that. Essentialism, yeah.
That's a good book.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff
you could read up to about like half to 3/4 and get the rest of it.
That's what I did. I didn't finish it. I read it, and I'm like, okay, this is getting pretty repetitive.
Grit is really good too.
You didn't give me that one.
Oh, you should. I'll let you. I don't think you need to read Grit, because
is it about just grinding and
in a sense
discipline?
Yeah, basically. I think it's a great book for a lot of people who struggle with discipline. You can read it, sure, but I think Atomic Habits still covers a lot of it. But I read that book. There's a lot of other books I read. I had to read some of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Read a little bit of that, and I have just a whole collection. I started reading. You know what's funny? I started reading. Who's the rapper? Oh my gosh! Is it Young? No, it's not Young Thug's book. I can picture him. Is it Gunna? No. I'll have to show you after. This rapper, he wrote a book about his life. It's not 50 Cent.
Is it Russ?
No. He's like a heavy rapper. I'll show you after, because I have it right in there.
Okay.
I read like a quarter of it.
It's good.
No, he went to jail and then got out, and then, dude, I'll just show you it. But it's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you should get autobiographies of like famous people. Definitely worth a read. I'm not gonna lie. It was like really good. But anyways, I won't hold everybody up any longer. If you guys got a lot of value from this podcast, feel free to share it with somebody that would also pull value from learning how to build habits and not making excuses. But we appreciate the support. It really means a lot. We're starting to grow. And, yeah. I mean, I think this year's going to be a big year for the podcast and just everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see a lot of growth.
Yeah.
But we'll have to get a cool guest on soon, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we'll have to get a cool guest. But
yeah, we will catch you guys next week on the tripod.